For the week of December 9th, looks like the markets are gonna open here slightly unchanged as we open the new trading week. And if we take a look at Asia overnight, we see that Japan was up 2.29%, very nice move. Rest of the market seemed to be unchanged, so is Europe. We also take a look at commodities here as we begin the week, and we see that pretty much unchanged, slightly to the downside. Natural gas is up 1.51%. As we begin the new trading week, let's all remember that beginning of December, the first 4 days, the market had a nice drop, but by the end of the week, you see that the Nasdaq ended the week last week up 0.06, amazing. Take a look at the Dow weekly. It had an amazing recovery. For the week, it was only down 66 points, up 0.41%. Very impressive recovery by the end of the week. Friday's move was huge. If you take a look at the S&P 500 daily, or actually the weekly on the S&P 500, you see that it was unchanged for the week. So very nice, holding above 1805 on the S&P 500. If you take a look at the Dow Jones daily, we see that this red line that I spoke about, this red line connects the lows here, this low, straight line. This has been a very good tell on the market was bouncing and recaptured this above the red line here. This was a nice entry point there. It recaptured the red line here again after moving below it, which was this entry point there. In each instant we had nice moves. We had a nice move here, nice move here. And so we see that we've come back to this red line and bounced off it. So who knows how far we want to go, but if history is to repeat itself, this is where the market bounces higher. The one thing I have to say is that this high has been recorded with almost with a negative divergence. So that high was not the best because negative divergence sometimes does lead to pullback. So for now, I say the market wants to move high just based on the fact that it's bouncing off this red line here. Now, if we take a look at the S&P 500 daily, you see that this high also came with negative divergence here. So we'll see whether the market is going to have enough strength to take out new highs or whether it's going to continue making new highs with negative divergence. So we'll see what happens. For now, very resilient market trading above the 13-day moving average, well above the 50-day moving average. So this is a market on a very strong ascent. Until it breaks that ascent, you can't always assume that it's going to break. In other words, it's strong until it tells you it's lost momentum. And you can see the next time the market breaks this RSI lows here, whenever that happens, is probably when we might start considering that the market is on pullback mode. For now, the market is way too strong. Take a look at the S&P 500 60-minute chart, and you can see we are testing this breakpoint. So take the lows here and this low here on a hourly closing basis. Once we broke down there, we've had a pullback. So now we are testing the breakpoint here. So if the market moves above that level, that's bullish. If it can't hold, then that's a sign of failure to hold back above the breakpoint, and we could see the market pull back lower. If you take a look at the RSIs, you see that we're in a critical level. You got the top lines on the RSI here, which could offer resistance or breakout. So we could stall here or break out for a very nice thrust higher. Also, the same point, this level here, happens to be the back test of this blue line here on the hourly. So short term, we are at this juncture here. We either stall or we break out one way or the other. By sometime middle of the week, we're going to know whether this was a resistance level or breakout level. We'll see what happens. Let's take a look at the VIX daily, because I think the VIX is telling us the market is wanting to move higher just based on the daily, and I talked about this Friday. The fact that this level on the VIX over the last year or so has been very nice signal for people to get out of the short side. So we saw here recently, similar to these other sell points recently here, and I've talked about this. So unless the VIX can break out above $15 here, which is the daily closing high a couple of days ago, unless the VIX can break out here, one can assume that the market is back on a rally, strong rally mode. Take a look at the VIX 60-minute chart so we can see what's going on short term. And we can see that the VIX has a line here on the hourly that needs to hold. If it can bounce off this line, maybe it recaptures this level here and eventually takes out 15. But for now, that's very tough to tell. If you take a look at the MACDs, you see that they're very poised to move below zero. So to me, the VIX is starting to move or lose momentum, which means the market might go higher. So let me take a look at two stocks here. I want to begin by taking a look at the Apple hourly chart, the weekly chart. And I just want to show you that I talked about this line that connects the lows here, this black line, which was a break here, and you can see we are back testing that line. This could be an area of resistance for the stock and might pull back. Also take a look at Apple from this red line here. This red line was a break here, is now being back tested. If it fails and coils down, that's a sell signal. Take a look at the Apple from a monthly chart, and you can see that again connecting the lows of 09 and lows along the way over the last couple of years. This straight line was a break here, and now we are back testing this level here. Seems to be failing. I could start thinking that this is where this stock turns around and heads lower short term. Also, don't forget that this level here is where the break took place in 08 there, which was for a major drop. So we are also back testing that level here. If this thing rolls over, if it does, this is going to be an ideal sell point for the stock. Let's take a look at Tesla here, and we're going to begin by taking a look at the daily. What I want to point out on the daily here, and I talked about this Friday, is there seems to be, now if you take this line here, this line, there was a break point there, so draw a straight line from that break point. So that level, now take note of every time we've stalled here on the blue line happens to be highs on the stock. We stalled there, which is this level here. Recently, or the last couple of days, we stalled here, which is this level here. So unless the stock can take out this 144.45 level area, unless it can take out that area, more than likely we might see this thing drop and move lower, just based on the fact that this has been resistant. So for this stock to do well, it has to do a number of things, and it's very straightforward. It has to break out above this blue line, and it has to break out above this recent daily closing high of about 144, 145. So unless that happens, I think this stock is poised to go lower. If you take a look at the hourly, you see that very concise point here. These red arrows show where the RSI on the hourly has been a store point. Here is here. Same line here, double top was that high. Recently we've moved back below that level here. So this could be a high, and it's starting to look like it's a high. If we take a look at the MACDs for Tesla, you'll notice that we are below zero here and seem to be breaking and coiling lower here. So if we thrust below zero here on the main MACD on the hourly, this stock could also pull back. So that's how we are beginning the week. Eric Muathe, good luck, peace, and blessings.